and I just don't know how to fund an existence on the way.
Sell your toe picks.
Yeah.
I've been considering selling my pants online.
I was going to say I could just grow up some knickers and flog them.
I'm considering doing it, but I don't think anyone wants to buy mine. So you ready?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Hello, I'm Ben, and welcome to Quarter Life Quandary Podcast. We're chatting about life, relationships, events, and experiences, and anything between. Joined with Katie and Aaron in this, our Quarter Life Quandary.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Cold.
Very, very cold. Good God, car ownership and the cold have introduced me to a new level of stress.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Hold on. No, let's not broaden that car owner sort of situation.
Let me correct it to my shit car does not like -6 temperatures.
There we go.
I went to open my car yesterday.
Where all
yesterday.
was frozen.
It was 100% frozen shut, and I was expecting that. So I did the sandwich bag with warm water in it trick, and just literally filled up a Ziploc bag with warm water, held it against the door handle to just melt the ice without being too fucking harsh and pouring boiling water over it. And I did the same with my windows and stuff. So I opened it. It opened normally, but in the time it took for me to pull the handle open, it froze open. So when it came to shutting the door, it wouldn't latch because the door handle was frozen open, so I couldn't shut my door. So I just sat there, just sobbing in my driver's seat, holding a sandwich bag against the lock.
That's amazing.
Awful.
I've never understood with these cars. These cars are tested to work in other countries that are much colder than ours. Why is it so much trouble in this country?
I mean, I feel like owning a Peugeot, for me personally, explains a lot of it. But because I've got windowless frames as well, because it's a convertible, it was also there was ice on the inside.
Oh yeah.
It was.
You're
awful.
gonna learn why no one has a convertible in the winter.
Yeah, to be fair, its MOT is due at the end of this month, and she might be getting put down. I'll be honest. She might be getting put down.
You got to keep hold of her.
Why?
You got to sell it in the summer. It's the only reason
true.
people have them is to sell them in the summer.
Well, the thing is,
winter,
I didn't realise it was a convertible until he was like, and the roof works. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean the roof works? I hope it fucking works. That's a really integral part of a car. And he was like, no, the hydraulics are still in good condition. I was like, oh, cool. It doesn't immediately look like a convertible. It just looks like a really small car.
There'll be some desperate hairdresser that wants to buy
it. It might as well be an Audi TT with less glam. In fact, it reminds me more of a Vauxhall Tigra.
Oh yeah, I've said that already.
Yeah, because I used to say Nissan Micra, but they're more bubbly. Mine's not as bubbly as a Micra.
They had the Ford version as well, and I can't remember what it was.
I've never known that information. I don't know why I'm trying to recall it.
Yep. Same.
It was never in my brain.
Yeah, there was one that looked exactly like the Tigra.
I don't mind it. It's a nice looking car. It was good for a first car. What's annoying is I bought it private sale because anything that wasn't was just extortionate, and it seemed like the service history was full. Anything that was an advisory on the MOT was windscreen wipers and other wear and tear stuff. So it had no structural, mechanical, or electrical fails on the MOT or anything, and it wasn't overly cheap. So I was like, this will be fine. This will be a good starter car. And then it's just lit up like a Christmas tree in the last year, and I haven't ragged it around or anything. So there's no lesson to be taken from this if I end up having to scrap it and buy something else. I can't even go, well, at least I learned not to do this next time. No, I feel like I did everything right and still got shafted.
It's just cars.
They're a headache.
You have to get out of the idea that they're worth any money.
Yeah.
There's something to be used. They're a cost.
Yeah, at this point, and to be fair, I went into it with the old saying of if you buy a car private sale, be prepared to pay for it twice. Like I went into it with that knowledge, but like I can't think of anything else that's like essentially a luxury that I'd spend fucking $4,000 a year for. Which is the frustrating thing, but c'est la vie, people have it worse. People I know have had it much fucking worse.
But it's only been their own fault.
Oh, for sure. So, like, the example that comes to mind is my friend got a 2017 BMW Z4, and it was a lovely car, also a convertible, very similar in like frame and structure to my car, just obviously incredibly nicer. And it was pretty expensive. It was on finance from where they used to work, and they had like a year left, I think, on whatever finance agreement they were on. I can't remember which one they were on, but um, they wrote it off with a year left of payments on it, and they weren't like particularly cheap payments. And I'm not sure why it worked out like this, but he couldn't like buy out of it, so he had to spend the next year making the same payments and then the final like bigger payment for the last payment, and only just paid it off because he had like bailiffs knocking on his door and shit. Because he wrote it off, he drove it into a central division. Like,
Yeah, but the issue with that is he only had what, third-party fire and theft.
yeah, literally. That's why he couldn't buy out of it. I remember now.
Yeah, so
That was going to be my first question. Like, why did the insurance not pay?
Bitch, I'm fully comp. I am not to be trusted. I'm fully comp.
I like him, and but I'd say the same thing to him.
He's a dumbass.
If you can't afford to insure the car, don't fucking have it.
100%. And I went down the road of if I can't afford to pay it off in like not a cash payment, but like an upfront payment, I didn't want to buy it. I didn't want to be like tied into anything. But that fucking backfired because I'm ready to drive this thing off a cliff if it makes it that far.
I have a solution. I reckon. Hold on, I'm going to Google this right now because I'm sure Top Gear has answered this before.
I thought you were going to tell me about some weird scheme where you could just like donate your car to Top Gear so they can trash it on TV.
Nah, it's. I'm going to ask you for the pronunciation of this as well. A trebuchet.
Okay.
Is that a French cake?
You can ask. I'm not going to give you the answer, but you can ask all you like.
Yeah, a trebuchet.
That sounds right.
You know what I'm referring to, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't that the catapult?
Yeah. So
I
reckon on a very clear day, with the wind with you, you could probably trebuchet your car from Dover back to France with a little note attached saying, "Fix your shit before you put it on sale."
Well, the thing is, it's got such fucking intermittent faults. Like, I've had to pull. Like, Peugeot have very specific codes, and you need, instead of just like a normal OBD2 reader, you need Peugeot Planet, which no one has, because why would you fucking want a Peugeot? I've since learned. But I've had to like take down these codes and put down what I think they're attributed to give them to the garage on Friday to at least be looking along the right track. Like, I've got a gearbox fault, I've got a variable valve timing fault, which I think is a solenoid. Something's up with the power steering because it creaks like a bitch every time I turn the wheel. Like, it sensed the MOT coming up at the end of the month and just lit up like a Christmas tree.
She's like, "Oh, I'm a coming."
There's also an oil leak, but I didn't think that was too unusual to have in a 2008 car.
Nah, that's fine.
Like, that seems to be part and parcel of old ass cars.
You say this, any oil leak is a concern.
No, it's not.
It's not at all. Depends, one, where it's coming from, two, how quick it is. Like, the fact that they sell stop leak and similar products like so cheap means that it's very much a common fault and one that can be botched. And it's not something that necessarily fails an MOT. If it's not bad enough, it will just be an advisory.
Yeah, if it's not pissing out, you're fine.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
old cars get oil leaks. It's just how it goes.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, fair.
I've had similar issues with cars.
mm,
I had a warning light come on, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to take it for a service soon anyway. And then I started looking through my service history, and I couldn't find anything about the cam belt, and I was like, fuck.
yeah, I think I've got a loose belt on
That's-
mine.
So I was like, I'll just get it all sorted now and get this little like sensor sorted out, and then turns out the sensor, because it's been failed for so long and been intermittent,
Mm.
it's caused a load of damage in the pipes for the recirculation.
See, that's what's worrying me about my intermittent faults. Like, it's nice when the EMLs go away. That's lovely, especially when I can clear them with the reader. But I don't want them to like be silently condemning things in the background without me knowing the actual source of the fault. And if it is something to do with my belt, I terrifying concept because excuse me, coughing. Cam like belts are a terrifying repair because like when they break, they're so destructive.
Yeah.
Like when they break, they take out everything in their path, and it's basically an engine rebuild.
Yep.
It's it's very stressful being a car owner. Everyone I know has been like, you should pass your test, just pass it, just do it. Your life will change. No shit.
Yeah. now, now you know what it's like.
You just wanted me all to suffer with you, you dicks.
What was that song? Hanging out of your best friend's ride.
I thought you were gonna say "Shitty Car" by Adam Sandler.
No. Oh, I haven't heard that in so long.
It has aged badly.
Oh, it was aging badly at the time.
It's aged so badly. Like the more I know about fucking just sensitivity and not being an arsehole, I listened back to that song recently because I've got a shitty car, and I was like, oh god no, oh that's awful.
Yeah, that's a terrible song.
Oh.
That can stay in 98 or whenever it was.
Oh.
So
How's
how much are you in with your car at the moment?
So the original outlay of like buying the car was meant to be 2,500, got it down to like 2,002 or 2,300. I got a new starter motor that was 70 odd. I got some Bright Spark decided to replace one of the gaskets, but like put sealant. It already had a seal on it, but then they put sealant on the seal. So that's like slip and sliding around. That was to try and fix the oil leak, and that cost me. There was a couple like that. There was like a bulk of repairs that were like £300 because I got them done like kind of on the cheap. Like I got a guy called Dave, which speaks for itself, and like parts from my other half where he works, which were like trade prices. So like I think after because it's going into the garage on Thursday or Friday, tomorrow or Friday. I think I'm gonna be up to about £1,000 of repairs to try and get it to pass its MOT. If it does pass its MOT after the repairs, and the guy I'm taking it to on Friday says get a shot of it, I'm just gonna get it passed and maybe either try and trade it in or sell it.
Just hold on to it for winter, till summer, and then sell it.
Yeah, the
Put
thing
it on
is,
We Buy Any Car.
I don't want to tax it because
Well, you can drive it. You can get it sorted and drive it.
yeah, no, I know I will, but I don't want to like because I don't think you can get a refund on tax, can you?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
Because I remember being angry that tax wasn't transferable.
It's not transferable, but it's refundable.
Hmm.
So you can get 12 months, and then whatever months you still have left, they refund you.
Oh. Yeah, maybe then. Because unlike Aaron, my tax isn't free.
It won't be free for Aaron for long.
No, he's going to be in the £20 bracket soon. God forbid.
Fucking won't be.
You will. Unless you're getting a new car, of course.
I had a look. That's obviously for electric vehicles. But because mine's 1 litre, it like... Yeah. Maybe.
If they're doing electric vehicles, they're going to do you as well, mate.
My other half's is 1 litre and he already pays £20, and it's basically your car with a different shell. It's just a little bit older. His is 11 and yours is 15.
64, so 2014.
Yeah. So it's only 3 years apart from Ross's, and he pays £20 a year,
Hmm.
which
I'm
that makes
fairly
no
sure they're
sense to me
looking
because
for
it's
a bit
literally the same Toyota engine. The
Yeah,
107, the
it's
C1, and the Igo are all the same engine, aren't they?
uh, yes and no. His is the previous Mark, and
Yeah.
this the one that I've got. They done some changes to get it like fully
But
um
sure, a work colleague of
park
mine
off.
has a 15 plate C1
Yeah,
and
but
still pays 20 quid as well.
remember, there's Citroen and Peugeot. Mine is a Toyota.
Mm,
Toyota.
Toyota.
mm.
Um, so they were all the same, but you've got to remember that after that mark, they all split off. So Peugeot, Citroen
I will
kept
say,
together, so they're both the same, but Toyota uh, separated off.
the Peugeot and the C1 are way more similar than the Igo. Like, despite them being 4 years apart, the Peugeot and the Citroen, that the Citroens that I've both been in, they're both the blue ones, which is very confusing when they were both at my place of work parked up and I kept getting into the wrong car. Um, but they both have like the shitty dials on the side of the center console for the heat. I don't know if you've seen them. They're like just big, chunky plastic caps on the
Hmm.
side of the center console, and that's how you change. Like you put on your demister and heating. It's like
They
you know
have,
the wheels,
yeah,
you know the like seat adjustment wheels that are on the side of the chairs in some cars. It's like those for the heat.
yeah. I
But like
have
the
them
iGo, as far as I
orbs.
remember, doesn't have them.
Nah, I've got orbs.
Mm, you do. Less about your orbs, the better.
So, have we got any topics to talk about?
I have a challenge.
We love a challenge.
I love a challenge. I would like to hear the most obscure noise you can make with an item in the room you're currently situated. Phones, electronics are disallowed. Only naturally occurring kind of
Ah,
sounds.
if phones and electronics are out, then I don't know if you're even going to be able to hear this. But did you get any of that?
Yes, a music box.
The creepiest music box that I've ever come across in my life, and what makes it obscure is that it was my nan's silver wedding anniversary card from my granddad, and it is. I'm gonna have to, obviously not for the benefit of the podcast, but for the benefit of the podcasters. I'm gonna send you a picture because this is the most glorious thing. Like it's ugly as sin, but it's so thick. Like, it's a card with a music box built into it. I hear two music boxes.
Do you, Katie?
It's not me.
Wait, I have two. Is this one going as well? I didn't even wind this one. What? Oh no, you've got one. I was so confused. Yeah, this was from the 60s, I believe. And if you can read that writing, power to you because my granddad wrote in basically script. Like it was quite impressive.
I can't find anything in here that isn't either electronic or doesn't make a noise.
I just have a secondary music box. And they're both creepy. I have a third one, but it just plays Moon River, so that's not as good.
Can you not read his writing?
I can read parts of it, but like this one isn't so bad. Some of the other ones that he's because when we were cleaning out her house, because she passed recently, we found all of like the love letters when they were courting during the war. Well, at the start of the war, because they got married during the war. Like I think most people got married during the war.
I mean, I tried to read half of it, and then it just gets worse as you go along.
That's what I mean. Like some of it's okay, and then some of it's terrible. In fact, one of our mutuals, I sent her the letters when we first found them, and I was like, "What the fuck does this say?" And she like hand wrote out what she thought it said and like sent me a picture back. I was like, "That's really sweet. You could have typed it because I can't read your writing." I thought, no, I could, but it was like the sweetest thing. I didn't expect her to actually come back and translate the whole thing, and I kind of got to see what my nan had written. I didn't mean that. I meant granddad. Why did I say nan? I'm trying to find another picture, but apparently I just have fucking so many pictures of tacos.
What?
I was making vegan tacos and doing it badly. And just kept taking pictures of it apparently because each attempt was getting better than the next. Yeah, as you'll be able to see from the pictures, I could definitely read her handwriting, but somehow she managed to I don't know if this is the same note. Yeah, I think it. Maybe not, but yeah, bless her. She translated like a song or poem that my granddad wrote for my nan. Yeah, they're definitely different letters, but the point stands. That writing's incomprehensible.
I was about to say, I've just started to read this. I was like, she's completely fucked this up. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I couldn't find the original because they were taken like last year, like start earlier end of last year. But yeah, I'm still waiting for you to work out how to make a noise, Ben.
There you go. I literally, there's nothing in here. I'm in a room full of books and electronics.
Aaron, I'm curious. Was yours going to be a music box before mine was a music box? Has he just fucking gone?
Sorry, no, I had my mute my microphone on mute. Yeah, mine
Yours was
was
gonna.
also mine was a music box, and it was Beethoven's Furlies.
Oh, I wish that was planned, but I'm glad yours was also a music box.
It's either
Did,
that or.
I
Oh,
was
no.
going to say, did you panic at the last minute and just grab the closest thing to you and say, "Aha"?
When you said not electronic, I was like, ah, a loophole.
Haha. Haha.
Was that your topic? Panic grabbing a music box off of the side?
No, it just kind of the penny dropped. I was like, "Oh, that's a good one." You
To
know,
be fair, it
you know,
was.
you know what would have made a good noise, Ben, if you put some effort in? A penny dropping.
Imagine having money.
I don't have any pennies. It's 2023. Everything's on card.
All right, all right. Okay, now.
All of the coins go in a big jar in the kitchen, and that's where they stay forever.
And then they pay for the heating bill.
No, there's not enough coins in that jar to pay the heat bill.
That is the one thing that is really depressing because my flat was purely electric water, no gas, and I'm moving into a house that has gas appliances, a boiler, central heating,
Oh, awful
and
business. Yeah.
stove. it's flabbergasting to watch it just sort of like just start counting. I'm like, please stop.
And the
Stop.
noises that boilers make when the heating goes on, it's just like gurgling throughout the house.
I mean, to be fair, no, this the heating system here isn't too bad noise wise, because the rest of the house sounds fucking awful, so you can't hear it anyway. Um, but it is just watching the smart meter, and I know obviously it isn't in real time, but still, it's like, oh yeah, I put the heating on a couple of hours ago. I'm gonna be watching that money go up now.
It's like playing like a Telltale game, like the bit where it's like, oh, Aaron will remember that.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the smart meter will fuck me over later. I'll remember that.
I think my boiler making horrific gurgling noises might be attributed to the fact that it's 45 years old.
Sorry, what?
Um, yeah, 45 years old, the boiler. We've had it recently looked at, like regular interval kind of inspection of it, and they're like, "This is fine." I'm like, "Okay."
And surely that doesn't pass any efficiency standards.
I
No,
did. I've
no, it
literally
won't.
got the rating and everything approved downstairs from like 3 months ago.
No, no. You have the safety certificate. We're
Well,
talking about its efficiency.
oh yeah, no, it's oh god, yeah, no, not efficient in any way, shape, or form. It's moot anyway because we've just come to the conclusion that we are replacing it at the low cost of about 8 grand because the third radiator in the house has stopped working completely, uh, beyond the point of bleeding it. Like bleeding it, there's just no water getting to them anymore, and there's like definitely a blockage in one of the pipes, stopping another one getting water because like the
Hmm.
pipes aren't getting hot all the way down. So we're just opting to replace the whole system. But have you seen the heated skirting board thing? I might be making that up, but I feel like it's a thing.
It's old shit. Don't bother.
Hmm.
It's something that's been rebranded from the 70s.
I was thinking that this is what my next question was going to be. I was like, I swear we tried this once.
Yeah, it's old tech from the 70s been repurposed.
Yeah.
The problem is things like when you come later on to try and like fit a unit in the front room and you got to cut the skirting board, you won't be able to touch it.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
some electrician comes in to go cut a socket in and it's just straight through the skirting board.
Yeah. It wasn't something I was looking into getting, but I was curious because I'm sure that we had this with like not only radiators but like convection heaters as well.
Oh yeah,
Like I'm sure they were a thing on skirting boards as well, just fucking hot air pissing out of the floor.
yeah.
Yeah.
Under floor heaters and under plinth heaters. You get them in
Mm.
kitchens.
Awful. I just want to be the level of well off that I can have like a heated bathroom floor.
More like underfloor heating.
Mm.
That's the most economical way to heat a house.
Yeah.
But you won't get any heat upstairs. That's the only problem.
Mm. Well, I don't in my room at the minute anyway. My radiator's been absolutely condemned for years, a couple of years now. I just have like a plug-in radiator. So like I think it's an oil radiator. I might be making that up.
Oh, yeah, you get oil radiators, but
Yeah.
they're not very effective either.
No, like I'm currently, as you can tell from the pictures of my the anniversary card that I sent, I am sitting here in like the crustiest joggers I've actually ever worn in my life. Um, Woolen like boot slippers and my Udi.
That's fair. I can't
So
believe it's 45 years old. That's mental.
I know it's
That's insane.
incredibly old. It's done its job. It's time for it to rest. It's time to be put to sleep. This is an old ass house, to be fair. I always find that an interesting concept, like the saying, like between us and Americans. Sorry, I had half the thought in my brain and then started talking midway through the thought without explaining anything. Um, Americans and Brits, the difference between like time and distance. There's like a saying that in the UK, 100 miles is a long way to travel, and in America, 100 years is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But like not in the opposite. Like in America, 100 miles is nothing. People will drive that for a gig. But in America, if you have like there is a tourist attraction that is a 100-year-old house. I'm like that's like a lot of London.
Well, I think you'll struggle to find anything less than a. Well, no. See, the problem with London is a lot of like the outside of the buildings are listed, but not the inside. So it's all just facade.
Yeah, but like there are a lot of like cottages, even like thatched houses and stuff across the UK that are old as shit.
Oh, my uncle lives in like a 500-year-old thatched cottage.
Yeah, like that's not an unusual thing to happen in the UK, but there is like legitimately a tourist attraction in America that's like a 100-year-old house. But I knew someone that lived in Fort Worth in Texas, and they drove, I think, 4 hours to go to a gig, and then drove 4 hours back.
That's just inconceivable to me.
Yeah, it's like us driving to Scotland just for a night out. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And then probably the same applies for Australia because you drive for 4 hours in Australia and you're at the end of the street.
It's just inconceivable to me.
Mm.
It's a hard no. Sorry. It's bad enough trying to get to London for 45 minutes.
I will not be driving in London anytime soon. Aaron is in his element driving in London, I've noticed, especially in vans. His personality just transforms to like
White van man.
absolute white van man. Yeah.
Savage. Hold no
Every
prisoners.
every other lane. Get out of the fucking way, get in your lane, fucking indicate.
So, I have a question. This is my topic.
Hmm.
Right. Can you name a sovereign country that has the smallest amount of area or
Papua
land?
New Guinea.
Tuvalu?
No, no.
Vatican City.
Or that's technically the smallest country.
Oh, Sealand.
No, Sealand is not recognised by the UN.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I swear that Vatican
I-
City is. It's a
Vatic-
sovereign state.
It is, yep. But there's another one which the UN calls an observer and has diplomatic relations with other countries under international law. I didn't know this. I found this out about 4 hours ago. Do you want to know?
Is it like around like Monaco or like one of those Serbia, like Monaco, Serbia area? Because I know that we've got things to do with those.
I don't think it is. I'm trying to think.
How is it not Tuvalu? This always gets me the win on Pointless. How is it not Tuvalu?
Hold on. What is Tuvalu?
Tuvalu, tiny ass island.
Let's have a look.
It's a
Tuvalu.
UN member state.
Do you want me to tell you how much land they have?
Like fucking a couple of miles. I don't know how much.
Okay, so if I remember rightly, the Vatican City is 0.4
Okay.
like kilometers. Tuvalu is 26 square kilometers,
Okay.
and this place is 0 because it
What?
technically does not own any of its land,
What?
even though it is considered a country. Population is 3 citizens,
What?
but it has 95,000 volunteers, 52,000 employees, 13,500 members not in vows, and 38 vowed members.
I think I signed up to this. Please tell me what this is, because I feel like I signed up to this.
It is the Sovereign Military Order of Malta,
I said.
or officially, the Sovereign Military Hospitalier Order of the St. John of Jerusalem, of Rhodes and of Malta.
Okay, I am struggling here because I feel like there was a thing where you could own a piece of land and you could just sign up in the same way that you could become an ordained minister. And I vaguely remember signing up to something like
I
this.
I own a piece of Mars. Thank you very much. I own.
Definitely don't.
That sounds fake.
You were just
Whoa,
sold.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Let me
whoa.
guess. You also bought a star and a piece of the moon about 15 years ago from Argos for 20 quid. Yeah.
Shut up. This is a genuine piece of Mars, and I've got my sector and quadrant.
It's bullshit. You can't own
Damn
it.
it.
So the order claims continuity from the Knights Hospitalia, an order which was founded in 1099 by the Blessed Garrett in the Kingdom of Jerusalem.
I am so convinced that I signed up to this.
It's quite interesting.
I have no memory of this, honestly, but I remember that there was something where you could just sign up to own a piece of land somewhere, and
But it has no land.
yeah, but like I can't remember what it was, and I wish I could find the email. I did this at the same time that I like signed up to become an ordained minister.
What, in California?
It's recognised in the UK now. Fun fact.
Where was I? In its long history, the order has owned land and resided in modern-day Israel, Cyprus, Greece, Italy, and Malta. These days, the Sovereign Military Order of Malta lives on with its own government, laws, passports, and population, and they also have a church in the resident of the island of Malta.
What
That's
you're
incredibly
basically
fun.
describing is the Order of the Assassins, aren't you, Ben?
Don't know. I don't know what that is. It's ruled by
You're
the
just
Prince and
describing.
Grandmaster. The official population is 2 citizens plus the Prince. Yeah.
Oh my god, this is just the Assassin's Order. It's Assassin's Creed.
That's incredible.
So
That's
it
really cool.
has formal diplomatic relations with 107 other states within the European Union. It's official but not diplomatic relations with other 6 states. And has full observer status at the UN. You can go there and get stamps and coins. They also issue passports for its citizens, which are fully valid for travel, and car
Huh.
license plates, even though they have no roads to drive on.
That's kind of cool. I like that. Speaking though of land and who owns it and such, um, I have a favorite stupid war, and like I feel like there's a lot of them. Like, things that aren't really wars, but they are wars. Like you've probably heard of the Emu War.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that one. Have you heard of the Whiskey War? Sometimes also known as the Liquor Wars.
Yeah, I know what this is.
Yeah, have you heard of it, Aaron?
Sounds familiar, but enlighten us.
So it's like a pseudo confrontation. It's not a aggressive thing at all. It's a border dispute between Denmark and Canada over a patch of
Ten
land called
Islands.
Hans Island. Yeah, and it's like the middle mark of Canada and Denmark, and they could never agree on who owned it. So they would just occasionally come along and like leave a flag and a bottle of local liqueur.
Yeah, they kick over the other country's flag, don't they? Hang their own, and then leave
Yeah.
a bottle of, you say whiskey, liquor, or what have you.
For some reason, I occasionally check in on this, and I can't fathom why this wasn't in the news. Clearly, it's headline worthy, but I checked on it recently, and it has been resolved.
It's been resolved.
It has been resolved. So
It's because
the
the
only
island is
place,
now underwater.
well, the only place that's really reported on it is a Canadian newspaper. But the Canadian and Danish governments settled on a border across the island, dividing it between the Canadian territory and the Danish territory of Greenland, to show Russia that its war is stupid. Basically, they were like, "This feud's been going on over nothing for a really long time, and we stopped it because it's stoppable. So maybe you should stop yours too." And they just went, "There we go, done. Look, Russia, we did it." Yeah, June 10th, 2022. It was resolved, and they just decided to split it.
Good for them.
Yeah.
That's just made me. I just had a quick little search because I was like, I had a quick look. So it's been going on for 44 years, and I was like,
Yeah,
is that the longest war?
probably.
It ain't.
Oh,
This is insane. Some of these. There's been wars going on in countries that are older than America.
a lot of things are older. Oh wait, no, a lot of things are older than Canada. I mean, America's a baby too, but Canada's a baby.
I'm going to butcher this. The Reconquista was a centuries long war fought between the Christian kingdoms of Spain and Portugal to reclaim the Iberian Peninsula from the Muslim Moors. It started in 711 AD and ended in 1492, making it a 781-year war.
Jeez, that's wild.
Jeez, there's so many here.
That's crazy. I what was it? I was talking about thinking about like countries being like children and how young Canada is, and I just have this memory of going to celebrate Canada 150, which must have been about 6 or 7 years ago. I don't know how old Canada is, but it was. I was like, why is it Canada 150? Because clearly I know nothing about history, and it was because Canada was 150. I'm like, what? I didn't realize Canada was such a baby in terms of like people settling there. And one of the people that I met at the Canada Day celebrations in London was like, living in England, I live on a street named after the fucking ship that transported the pilgrims from England to the New World. Like, this is bizarre. Like, he lived on like Mayflower Road or something. And he was like, other than my great grandparents that lived in Canada, I have no idea of my ancestry because we just didn't exist in this country before then. They're just everywhere. I was like, oh, that's weird.
So there's been people there. Apparently, they crossed to North Africa on the ice bridge. But yeah, you're right. I didn't realise it was a
Yeah,
confederacy.
yeah. I just remember seeing it branded as Canada 150, and I was like, what? Why? I didn't realize that the official age of Canada is like counted from 1861 or something. I think it's 1861. I might be making that up. I just tried to do the math based on how many years ago I went to that parade.
Oh, I don't know what else to talk about. Am I going to have to dig out another fact?
Well, unless you want to talk about me panicking about mortgage applications, then please give us facts.
Well, we can hear you panic for a while.
It's a very, very hard thing to navigate for someone that's just really bad at being an adult and really easily overwhelmed by stress.
So,
Um,
what do you want a mortgage for in this climate?
well,
Stay at home
apparently,
with mum and dad.
apparently, this summer is going to be the sweet spot for like housing crisis and interest rates not being like over 10%.
Uh, maybe.
So I feel like the best time to get maybe a 5 year fixed rate would be before summer and then wait for the banks to repossess people's homes, I guess. It sounds shitty, but like it feels like the prime time to get some bricks and mortar.
I mean, yeah, I think you could be right,
Um,
but I think you have to wait for the crash to start happening.
well, the thing is, if I get, because like I could get a decent rate for a 5 year fixed agreement for less than 5% at the minute.
Yeah.
And I don't have to do anything with it. I can just have it. And if circumstances change, I can reassess. But I feel the need to get some kind of agree. I just I need to set up a meeting with a mortgage advisor, like book an appointment with Halifax or something, like ASAP.
If you bank with them, yeah, it's worth having a look.
Yeah, I've got an ISA with them.
But
That's about it, though.
you can always go to a mortgage advisor.
Yeah.
You're always going to get a better rate with an advisor.
Yeah, apparently Halifax has got some like wicked rates. Like my brother-in-law worked there for a while, and he was like, in the least like biased way possible, Halifax is shit hot.
Yeah, they. I've been with Halifax like 3 times now,
Mm,
so not like continuously, but they've definitely. I've always had a good rate with them.
yeah, I just it's I am definitely 30 this year. Um,
Ugh.
yeah, and having to actually sack up and do some shit like just how do you afford to live like in the least way possible? Like I am on a shit wage because
Yep.
everyone's on a shit wage at the minute. Um, and I just don't know how to fund an existence on the wages.
Sell your toe picks.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've been considering selling my pants online,
I
and
was
I've
going to
just.
say I could just grow up some knickers and flog them.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm considering doing it, but I don't think anyone wants to buy mine.
Mm. Yeah, you don't need to say they're yours. Just
Uh,
buy some £1 Primark thongs,
we talked about this before.
rub them up against Aaron's cat's butthole, and just call it a day.
They're gonna want pics.
Of
Yeah.
someone.
That's a good point.
You have a wife.
So I just cut out the Littlewoods catalogue.
Fucking hell.
That would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Did you just say fucking Littlewoods? I actually can't. I can't.
I don't know. I'm fucking. Is it even still around?
No.
I mean,
I don't think so.
I don't think Littlewoods has been around the same time as Index has been around either.
Fucking Index.
Index.
they they went into administration in 2005. it's been it's been so long. It's been 18 years.
Do you know what shop I really miss?
It's right. You can go buy the knickers from C&A. It's fine.
I was literally about to say C&A. I got when I was little. I got the sickest yellow coat out of C&A, and I loved that coat. And then they shut the place down.
I loved C&A. It's where I always went for my school clothes. Little frilly socks. I genuinely think I bought something from a charity shop not too long ago that was from C&A. And I think that's like the sole reason I bought it. I was like, well, this held up well.
It lasted 18 years. It will last another 18.
Yeah, basically. Although saying that, I have now thrown away 90% of my clothes and belongings.
Why?
Because I had a bit of a mental breakdown, for lack of a better phrase, and in my manic state decided that I don't need things, so just threw everything away.
Were you Mary Kondoing it?
Kind of, yeah.
Nothing brings me joy.
Literally.
Everything.
I sort of went along the mantra of if I haven't used it in 6 months or more and it costs £10 or less to replace, then it's going in the bin. Or getting donated or what the fuck ever. Like, I don't need it. I don't need it.
See, the only time I really did that was I turned all the hangers around once at
Yeah.
the start of the year, and anything that I didn't wear after a while, I was gonna I'm gonna donate it to charity, but then it was all stuff like shirts, like a funeral suit. I'm like, well, I haven't been to a funeral this year. That's kind of like unfair.
Yeah, and like winter clothes. Did you see the pictures, Aaron?
Yeah.
That's currently my wardrobe.
I mean, to be fair, I obviously moved in with my partner back in.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I got rid of so much stuff in like a moment of
But why?
because I didn't.
You need clothes. You're going to be getting a mortgage. You can't be going out and buying all these clothes. You can't be having smashed Avo on toast. You need to get a mortgage.
I buy secondhand stuff anyway. Because I just don't fucking like clothes. Everything is either a crop top or ripped jeans, and
See,
like
if you'd have sent it all to the charity shop, you could have bought all your own stuff back.
I did send it to the charity shop. I sent a lot of it to the charity shop. So like when I go, I'm gonna have to be super cautious. So I'll be like, "Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
don't
Why do I like that? It's kind of ugly. Oh wait,
don't fucking go to the same charity shop that you dropped all your stuff off
no,
because
I don't. I went to a different town."
I went to a town I went to a shop 2 towns over.
No, see, because like I don't know how frequently you charity shop, Aaron, but there are some you just don't go in.
Well, the last charity shop I think I went in, no, sorry, the last charity shop purchase I made was, I think it was a Stevie Wonder single vinyl,
Yeah,
and previously before that, it was that coat from CNA.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, here we go.
yeah.
CNA holding up.
Well, I took them to like I went into I think it was a Mind charity shop a couple of towns over, and I went in there and they had like a Matalan vest top, not anything with like no picture on it. It was just like a strappy vest top, and it was like a faded white. You know when like you've washed white clothes so many times that they're just grey now.
Mm.
And it was £5. Like, it was probably cheaper when it started its life in Matalan, and I was just like, "Do you know what? No,
Yeah, I'm
not going there."
personally getting sick of this charity shop shit where
It's
I
because
went
people are buying and reselling. That's the problem.
I went into a charity shop to look for some shelves or for like a little, like the mini little cupboards,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then they wanted £85 for like a bedside cabinet, which is probably
literally,
older than me, and I was like, this is ridiculous.
literally. But
yeah.
yeah, I actively, and I love a charity shop, and I'll go in any charity shop I can find usually, but I never go in this one anymore because, like, if you're selling a ratty old fucking tank top for £5, like, what are you selling actual nice things for? So I just don't bother. And I was like, it'll be safe to throw all my things in there because I won't accidentally buy them back because I just won't be in there.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're selling your grotty knickers for £10. You could have
yeah,
been doing that.
I could be selling them for 12.
They snapped a picture of you as you were leaving. You didn't realise, but yeah, they've got you behind the curtain in the special section.
Also, I've accumulated 29 years worth of crap. Like I have crap. And bear in mind the bottom two shelves in the picture I'm sending is stuff that just needs a home. But those three storage boxes at the top are my like miscellaneous stuff. That's all I've got left.
Wow.
Like you can tell by the shelf, some of it's like there's a can of a zero coffee that just needs to go downstairs, and like a mug that's not been used yet, that I got as a gift. Like stuff and like cleaning supplies and photos. They're not like things.
Oh, I see how it is. The photo of your other friends on the wall, but not me.
Gift me a photo and we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, you haven't gifted me a photo either. It needs to be a picture of just you
Yeah.
pointing at us. So when you want to prove a point, you just ring up and go like, "Oh, are you coming out tonight?" And we're like, "Oh no, I don't know.
I'm
Maybe I
going to
could
print
go as
off
well."
an A1 photo of me, like, do you know, like a boudoir photo?
I'm gonna put it right above our bed.
An erotic photo shoot. Oh god.
You know, like when you're like on the fur rug and it's just the bum.
Yes, yes. You know what? I would have that on my bedside table.
Hmm. Do it. Do it. You won't. Fucking. I'll put it up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to send Mitch round to hang it for you.
That was such a good housewarming party. I wish we could talk about that more. I just don't feel like we can. Oh, that was a great time. But yeah, I genuinely just threw away a lot of stuff. What's funny about this situation, though, is that we have a skip down at my nan's house on the same road as me because we're emptying the house to sell it to pay off like the care home fees, and everything is going in there. But I threw away, I think so far, at this point, it's 14 20-litre bin bags of my belongings that weren't like worthy of going anywhere. And they all went in the skip. The skip was full, like over full. Like we were just waiting. We just hadn't got around to calling the guy to come pick it up yet. And we were going to do it yesterday. Until I drove home from work and saw the skip was now half empty.
Oh.
Yeah, so the day before, the morning that this happened, I let out. I had to like move over on my road to let a vehicle pass, and didn't think anything of it at the time. But it was one of those ones with like the cages on the back.
Rag and bone, man.
Yeah. Someone had just come and like emptied the skip. Now, and apparently, according to my nan's neighbours, people like dog walkers have just been coming past and helping themselves to stuff. Like
Yeah.
elderly couples walking the dog have just been rummaging through the skip and taking what they fancy. Like, no shame, just like deep diving in it, which is fine. It was stuff we were throwing away anyway, whatever. But what these people need to understand is that I'm incredibly weird, and I have been throwing away some arguably weird stuff. So like, I feel bad for the people opening these bags. But two things that stick out to me is I found an old can of spray paint that I had just assumed had dried up because I had like I'd painted my desk. Like I had spray painted my desk, the underside of it, because it was ugly and green and whatever. Anyway, I chucked this in the bin without thinking about it, and then I put something incredibly heavy, apparently, in the bag, and just a fucking explosion of spray paint all in this bin bag. So I feel sorry for the person opening that bag to like a massacre of paint. And then the second thing is when my bugs die, my pet bugs, I pin them and preserve them and frame them. As you can probably see from that second, like the last picture I sent you, there's like a little pinned mantis in a white frame peeking out. Now, sometimes they're frame worthy, sometimes. Only occasionally are they frame worthy. Sometimes legs fall off. Whatever. Whoever rummages through one of those bin bags is going to find two very large, grisly looking, I think, Vietnamese stick insects with pins sticking in their thorax.
I've got a question.
Shoot.
Have you got the mannequin hands?
I threw them away. Yeah.
Why didn't you give each one of us a mannequin hand?
I didn't realise you'd remember that I owned them, to be honest.
Do you know
See,
what?
this is why I needed to
Terrible
declare.
friend.
See,
You're
why
terrible.
didn't you? We could have come round and we could have just had a, we could have helped.
I would have
The
loved that.
The amount of gags you could have done with these mannequin hands, like
I kept my tiny
oh,
hands.
Can you like put your hand out to give me a handshake? You know, I wouldn't question it because we're on a handshake kind of basis, and I'd have just pulled the hand out.
I feel like I'm beyond the point in my life where I need mannequin hands from BHS. I'll be honest.
Do you know what? You're so just close-minded.
Dude, I had some weird shit. Like I have I have the worst phone speaker
Oh.
that doesn't really work as a phone speaker.
Hold
It's
on.
just like a gramophone.
Let me let me redigest that point. Are you in possession of the BHS mannequin hands?
No.
Well, you don't have any widge anymore, do you?
I kept some. I kept some weird shit, not necessarily the same weird shit. Let me get this phone speaker, which is the worst thing I've ever purchased, and somehow one of the things I kept. Now, this is the most stupid thing because it's not even that effective. But I liked it. It was aesthetically pleasing to me. That quality is terrible, so we're just gonna do a little take two on that.
Do you remember when the VR headsets first come out?
Oh yeah.
And you was just putting your phone in a box when you strap it to your head.
Yep.
So I bought one of them. It was at the charity shop. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're always in the charity shop. Yeah.
I'll have a go on this, and then it didn't work.
No.
I just couldn't
They
get
don't.
it to focus.
No. This is my wonderful mobile speaker that I've purchased.
That is the most ghetto thing I've seen in so long.
It was so funny.
It's just a the fuck,
You
just a
slot-
copper pipe on a piece
Yeah.
of wood.
Yep, you slot your phone into that little phone slot, and it just has a hole that goes through to that little gramophone type thing.
How much did you pay for that?
A single English pound.
Okay, you're fine.
It made me laugh, and it still does, and it kind of works, and it does sound like an old like wax cylinder player. It makes everything sound old timey, and it's really funny, like listening to Lil Nas X in an old timey way.
Yeah, that's fine.
It added something to my life, so I kept it. I kept the tiny hands. I didn't keep the mannequin hands, but I kept the tiny hands because there's always a place in my life for tiny hands.
Just making
It's
me
like
think of all the shit I've thrown away in the years. So much
it's
stuff.
it's the first time I've been brutal getting rid of things. Like normally I'm like, oh, that has sentimental value. It doesn't. I don't know why I'm attaching weird sentimental value to things. Like
uh,
when I was like 8, my sister is 6 years older than me, and she went on like the French exchange trip when she was in year 8. So I must have been incredibly young. But she got me like some little wooden building blocks from Flanders Fields Museum, and I've kept them all these years, and I don't fucking know why because I didn't even like them when I was 8.
I've had deja vu. Oh, were you talking about this the other day to me?
Yeah, I think I was. But
Okay.
I didn't even like them when I was a child, so why would I keep them now? And I kept like she got me a souvenir notebook off of Nemesis Inferno, and at the time it seemed really cool because I'd never been to Thorpe Park, and I was like, this is really cool. And now I've been there so many times, and it is not my favorite ride. I don't know why I kept it.
Is
So
Nemesis Inferno the one that's shut down now?
Yes,
yeah, it's the one that fucking
Wow.
rattles your head around. Horrible.
they're refurbishing it. I think from what I've heard.
Mm.
Um, I found the best thing to do is, and I didn't realize. I thought it was a smart idea, then I realized it just sounds very, very mm, petty, maybe. But anytime like a friendship or something like that comes to an end, or a relationship, anything that has sentimental value, just yeet, just get rid of. I was
Done
like,
and
oh, that's,
done. Yeah,
that's such a good idea. Then I realized, oh, that's what everybody else does as well.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
um, but yeah, I was just like, yeah, I don't think I own any. There's only one expensive item I still have that has sentimental value in open air brackets. Um, but I don't really know where to get. Where would you sell jewelry?
Goldsmiths.
Any pawn shop, yeah. Any
See,
pawnbrokers, right?
It's probably not worth as much as you think it is.
No,
it
100% not.
it is because of the stones that are in it.
That doesn't mean anything.
I was going to
Uh,
say gold and silver is probably the most value you're going to get out of anything above stones.
yeah, well,
Stones are like cars. The second they're out of the shop, they lose value.
Yeah.
yeah, but
The whole De Beers thing, which I'm not going to get into today because that's run into hours long.
Cars wear and tear, stones tarnish. They both lose in exponential value after leaving the shop that they were made in.
but the thing is, the discount that I got on. God, this sounds bad. The discount that I got on the ring originally because of uh, the connections I had and so on and such forth. Um, I've sort of looked online on even on eBay, and the same sort of ring is still pretty much sort of holding value and stuff like
Sell it
that.
on eBay then.
Yeah, that's going to be your best
Uh,
port of call. Knock it on
the thing,
eBay.
yeah, but the thing is,
Say it's your great grandmother's and it's an heirloom. Just make up some
um,
bullshit story. Get some photos from Katie of her nana,
Yep.
and then
She was old
you know we
and looked pretty much close to death in every photo from the last decade. So I've
yeah
got a
we'll
lot to choose from.
we'll Photoshop the ring on her finger and we'll say this ring was in the war.
I
Mm.
mean,
He'll have a date stamp in it from last year, but
This woman was born in 1924. You can make up any story you like. You can go for any era.
we could just go to. I could go. Well, yeah, I could go to any retirement home and just go, look,
Wear this.
old person. Yeah, put this on for a picture, please.
Wear this, and I'll tell the nurses not to touch you for a day.
wow. Or if
They
you
would
get
take you up on that.
if you get the old man to do it and say we'll get the nurses to touch you, and he'll do it as well.
It works both ways. It's a flawless plan.
Oh, perfect, perfect. I've already messaged your better half, Ben, about your boudoir photo shoot.
Of course you have.
Oh, for God's sake! Why does everyone keep doing this to me? God.
She had the best reply as well. Hold on.
Oh.
I'm
She's
gonna
replied already? Jeez.
Yeah, I'm going to drop the GIF that she replied with in the chat.
I had this not so long ago. Someone tagged me in. Someone tagged me in like a butler thing. It was like a hot dad's butler thing, and they were like, "You
Yeah.
should do it. You should do it. It's a paid gig." And I was just like, "I'm not going to do it." And then they started messaging her, my wife, and saying, "You should get him to do it." I'm like, "What the fuck's all this about?"
I'm still laughing at the GIF. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing is, yeah, because we know that that's what happens with marriage. If you don't immediately say yes, then we just go to the next in chain of command.
Yeah.
So you're inferring that I'm the hierarchy point of this relationship?
No,
That's what you inferred.
I said the next higher in the chain.
Oh,
Exactly. Oh. Oh.
Also, I've extended beyond GIFs.
You've extended.
I've decided. There is a website called playphrase.me.
Oh, we're going around in circles now, are we?
No, because I was going to say, do you remember me talking about this?
I was going to say, I was just like, oh, we've got to that point in the podcast now where we're talking about things we've already gone through.
This is an update on playphrase.me. So do you remember that had like a cap on how many you could look at and what you could choose from? There's one that has no limit and has more stuff. It is called Yarn. Getyarn.io. And like I just searched like Homer boudoir in relation to the GIF that Aaron just sent, and they've got like the clips from the episode, like 3-second clips that you can just send.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
Up your GIF game and just send whole ass clips from films and stuff.
So yeah, I'm not sure. I like the way that you can kind of infer with a GIF.
Mm.
It's short, snappy, and to the point.
But like sometimes I just want to portray the pig from Disenchanted going sad in Matt Berry's voice.
Yeah, so.
You know what? That was one of those shows that quickly. It just died for me. The first series was okay, and it just didn't feel like they got.
I'll admit I stopped watching it too.
Yeah, it didn't. I tried watching the second series. It just didn't have the same. Ugh.
Also, in the same way that I hoard possessions and have to like clear them out, I do it with TV shows as well. So like I will put off watching the new season of something because I just don't trust it to not get cancelled. So I'll just put off watching things for ages until like there is a guaranteed confirmed next season, so I don't get fucking blueballed by a show. And I did that with Rick and Morty. And recently I was like, do you know what? Because like season 5 had come out at this point, and I was like holding out on season 4. I was like, I'll watch season 4. And me having no impulse control, binge watched the whole of season 4, and now I'm on season 5. And 4 episodes into season 5, one of them got arrested.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Justin Roiland. Yeah.
Like, of course that would happen. Now I'm going to hoard everything forever. Now I'm not going to trust it. I was right. I was right to have my trust where it was.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think you can just appreciate what comes out.
Well, yeah, but then
Game of Thrones last season.
Yeah.
Never watched that one.
Oh, really?
Really? I'm kind of glad because apparently it sucked at the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been better if it ended, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're not doing another one, soz." And then you could have wished it would have been better rather than having it actually and finding out it was shit.
Santa Clarita Diet, loved that show. Absolutely got cancelled on a cliffhanger.
Yep.
Drew Barrymore and I are equal parts pissed because apparently she's fuming that she got cancelled.
I did wonder where you were going with that. I thought you were going to infer that you were Drew Barrymore.
No, I'm just as angry as her about this situation.
Did you have a nice chat with her when you discussed that?
Yeah. But the thing is, because of like binge watching culture and everything, it takes forever and a fucking day to come out with a new season of anything, and I forget that I've watched it. I think was it Outlands that I was watching, like the Outlands or something. It's or
No
the
idea.
I think it's not just that, also done it with Westworld as well, and they've sort of cancelled it. But I think by the sounds of it, that finished quite well, potentially, besides a few sort of plot points they didn't sort of wrap up. But
I
um,
just wish Netflix would stop cancelling things like mid cliffhanger. At least be sort of like do a wrap up episode,
You've
even
got
if it's
no,
a
no,
bad
no, no.
one.
See,
you've got 4 episodes to wrap this up. Go.
Yeah,
that I completely disagree. Completely disagree. That is not Netflix's problem at all in the slightest bit. That is arsehole writers that are writing themselves into a ticket to the next series.
are you by any chance talking about American Horror Story? Because that feels like what that woman from American Horror Story does.
No,
Sarah
I
Paulson.
just yeah, I just get irritated with if you remember older TV shows. They are either they had a main plot point per series that gets wrapped up quite nicely, maybe with some little bits and pieces to carry on, or something like that. But today, I find that there's too many uh, long. What's the phrase? Long term storytelling.
Mm,
That they try and last it out, going, "Oh, you can't cancel us. We still haven't finished the story." And it's like,
yeah.
no, you got authorized one season. Tell your story. If we like it, we'll pick you up for a second.
But that's kind
Don't.
of what the pilot episode of a show is for. They're like, are you good at writing hooks? Yes, the pilot was good. We'll continue you on.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that
It's
that.
not a pilot season. Like,
But still, it doesn't mean that that show is going to continue on forever.
I kind of miss being able to like watch an episode per week of something by force. Like, I don't like the option of having the ability to binge. Like, because it was Outer Banks is the show that I was talking about. It was like basically teen drama, but also still kind of good. Anyway, it came out in fucking April 2020, and obviously I watched it because I watched everything. I finished Netflix in 2020, and I finished this in like half a day, and it was really good, and it ended on a really good cliffhanger. The next season didn't come out until July 2021, so like 15 months after I finished it is when the next season came out, and I forgot I'd watched it by then. I completely forgot I'd watched it by then, and I watched it. I finished the last episode of it today because I forgot that I had watched it. The only reason I had remembered I watched it was because I have had to recently like download my Netflix history to potentially transfer it over to another platform because Netflix is getting cancelled on my end, and the next season isn't due until February 2023 apparently. So that's not so bad. But like I forget. I forget that I've watched shows like Alice in Borderland. Loved that show. Watched it so intently. Really good premise. Completely forgot it existed. And like Netflix didn't prompt me that there was a new season
Hmm. Yeah.
because they're so busy pushing You. Because everyone loved You, and Stranger Things is like 2 years away still.
Yeah. But the thing is, like with Stranger Things, fair enough. Each series with that, it wrapped the story up. If
No.
after well, no, after season one, if there wasn't a second series of Stranger Things, there was a bit of a cliffhanger, obviously with
As
11.
far as my memory, because it, like I say, it was a very long time ago now. The children that were in season one are now adults, but I vaguely remember it being like, and the story is done, but then, and then something crazy happens that threatens Hawkins again. Like that's definitely a huge cliffhanger. It's not like a little thing.
No, yeah. See, that was the newest season.
But I'm pretty sure it did that
No,
They do that in
throughout.
all.
Yeah.
If they just wrap up a story, there's no way.
Why would you come back?
They left it. Okay, spoilers for Stranger Things. In the first series, if you remember, they have the Demogorgon, and Eleven blows it up with her powers, but she also dies, or you're led to believe that she dies or whatever, but she disappears, doesn't she? But that was like the wrap up to the season. If it had ended there, there'd have been nobody crying about it at all in the slightest bit because it
Well,
was
no,
quite a
because we didn't
definitive
know
moment.
who L was or what L was. We didn't know what the Demogorgons were, why they were there, what the fucking like Russians had to do with anything. There
I
was
don't think
definitely so many loose ends and so many
uh,
implications to another season.
the
Like they
Russians
definitely
went.
had us by the fucking short and curlies.
I don't think the Russians were brought into the second series.
Yeah, but there was definitely like a base, wasn't there, in the first series where shit was coming from. And they didn't know
Uh,
what it was, and they were trying to find the source of why all this nonsense was happening. And obviously, we hadn't been told where Elle had escaped from or anything. Like there was definitely loose ends that needed answers, and if they'd ended it, I think people would have been absolutely fuming.
Well, they've done that in books for years.
Hmm.
Oh, it just comes from a secret base, and it's all a
yeah,
bit
and that's
weird.
it.
No,
Done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a new concept. I just think if like I think binge culture has gotten too far because obviously Buffy, for example, I used to watch Buffy every Thursday night, and like I'm rewatching it, and it low key kind of season one sucks. That's another story. But I watched it every Thursday, and after Buffy, I watched Dead Like Me every Thursday, and there was one episode a week, which meant they could film it and wean people through it for like a couple of months. And that left less of a gap between when the next series would come out. And because there was that, like, people were watching shows for months at a time, people weren't plowing through like 17 shows in a couple of months. Like, it is January, and I have wrapped up 5 different shows, like a season of 5 different shows.
yeah, but is it because you're binge watching it?
It is because I have the option to, and I have no impulse control. A lot like other people, especially like during COVID, I think people got into the idea of binging TV more because what else were you going to do? Like sit on Zoom with your mates? Absolutely not.
Well, I'm still at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost my
Uh,
job.
to be fair, like with House of the Dragon, I was quite comfortable, even sometimes leaving that a couple weeks. So I had 2 episodes to watch.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of
Um,
people do. And because there's such a demand for a new show, because everyone's finished like 13 Reasons Why, people plowed through that in minutes. Like, and the thing is, because of how like there's always going to be spoilers, so I always feel like I need to watch the newest episode of something on Netflix so someone doesn't fucking spoil it for me. And because there's this demand, like people are just Netflix is just churning out absolute garbage because
You
there's
can
such a high demand for shows because everyone's done with them in a week.
you can do what I do and just don't start watching something until it's been out for like 2 years.
And this is what I did with Rick and Morty.
I'm doing it with The Walking Dead. I'm only just
See,
like
The Walking. I was literally just about to mention The Walking Dead for completely the opposite gripe. They have the old format because it's obviously a Fox and AMC thing. It was out weekly.
yeah, but I've waited so long that it's all out there now. No
Yeah,
one's no one's even talking about it anymore.
I mean they are because it literally just finished like uh, not so long ago,
Yeah,
forever.
but I'm so far behind, and I
Yeah,
don't go anywhere. I don't even search for it on my algorithms, so I don't get anything for it.
yeah. Like it was so nice that like me and my other half sat down to watch the forever finale of that chapter of The Walking Dead because we'd been watching it weekly. We'd been like sitting down on a Sunday night whacking on The Walking Dead, and that was like our Sunday thing. And I miss TV being like that.
Just have some self control.
No,
yeah, I
no
mean,
control whatsoever.
the thing
Stop
is
stop
with
watching it on your own.
Also, the end
problem.
of The Walking Dead, not going to tell you anything about it, but absolute cop out because it's not the end, because they're spin offs. And please don't research this because it will ruin the ending for you. But they announced the spin offs before The Walking Dead finished,
Yeah.
and the spin offs are for named characters.
Oh, okay.
So I basically saw like ads for this person's spin off and this person's spin off, and I'm like, well, unless it's like, and it didn't look like it was backstory because they were still in their like current level of weathered. Like it wasn't like the start of their story. It was like their story going onwards because that's how they were branded. They were
Yeah,
branded as like their story after The Walking Dead, which means like The Walking Dead is really good at killing people, you know? And seeing their spin-offs advertised made me go, well, they're safe.
yeah. I'm
They're
just
not going to die.
staying well away from all kinds of
Yeah.
spoilers, isn't it?
I mean, to be fair, the characters are done, but they had plot armor, regardless.
Yeah, I just feel like they could have probably just like waited until the adverts after the final episode to announce who wasn't going to die.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like they could have been more brutal. The other half was kind of devastated at the last episode, and a tear was shed. But I couldn't give a fuck. Like, they weren't characters I cared about. Uh,
Well, that's the thing that you haven't learned from watching Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones, no one's safe.
yeah,
Yeah, don't have a
so I've
favorite
heard.
character.
Yeah, so I've heard. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is probably a toxic trait of mine, if it can count as toxic. But if I get told to watch something, I ain't watching it.
To be fair, I tried with Breaking Bad. I left
I
that
liked
so
Breaking
so
Bad.
long. I can understand why people liked it,
I did
but
it with Better Call Saul.
eh,
I haven't
I
watched
didn't.
um,
that.
I didn't watch it because everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's so good." I'm like, "Well, that's me never watching it then. Fantastic."
the only reason that I ended up watching Game of Thrones was purely because um, we can say his name because it isn't actually his name. Fingers
Huh.
used to keep on coming in when I worked at the pub, and he was like, "You've got to watch it. You've got to watch it." And I was just like,
That's how
"No,
old it
no,
is.
no,
Jesus.
no, no." And yeah, and I was like, "Ugh." And I think he actually brought in like a memory stick or something like that. He was like, "Here you go. Here's
Jesus.
like the first series or whatever." And I was like, "All right, okay, fine." And I gave it a watch, and I was like, "Actually, this has hooked me in the first episode because it just had everything in the first episode."
Yeah, I watched like 10 minutes of the first episode, and there was like some kid watching incest, and I was like, I'm out.
Ah, ah.
I literally stopped there, and I was like, this just feels like I don't know. Okay, so like to compare Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones for a moment, I feel like gaming Gaming Thrones, no, Game of Thrones.
Gaming prince.
Um, I believe it's good. I believe that everyone liked it for a reason, but I feel like it really relied on tits and dragons. Like
And
really relied on. I'm not saying and. I'm just saying I I liked Breaking Bad for the opposite reason. I feel like it didn't rely on like sex sells kind of things, and like it was a slow burner. I actually only cared about Breaking Bad like season 4 onwards, which isn't a lot. It's like a season and a half, but it was a really slow burner. But there was a lot of in-depth story, and it's
really,
something you have to. I liked it.
it was just drugs and old men. I don't.
So in depth.
Did it even pass the feminist test for movies? I can't remember. It's got a name.
Mm.
What the fucking what's that name? Basically, is there a part in Breaking Bad where two women talk where it's not about a man?
Oh, I don't know. I need to find out what this is called now because I've heard about it before.
The Bechtel test.
Hmm.
It's a measure of representation of women in film. The test asks whether a film features at least two women talking to each other about something other than a man.
Hmm. To be fair, I feel like I don't remember any women in Breaking Bad other than fucking Omelette Woman. What's her name? Is it Omelets?
Skyler.
Yeah, her. That's the only woman I.
Breaking Bad flagrantly failed the Bechdel test.
Yeah,
So,
I literally only remember her.
yeah, there you go.
Eh.
But I really liked it, and I like.
I love your only input, Aaron, was meh.
I liked because I'm currently watching Better Call Saul, and I think it's better than Breaking Bad. Is that a controversial? I don't know, but I like it more.
Yeah, I watched like the first series of Better Call Saul, and it just dragged for me. I was just like, eh.
Yeah.
So come on, Aaron, what's your? Give me. I want one number fact. Give me your best one. I want to hear
Okay.
all 8 of them.
All 8? What? So this episode today is episode 27, I believe.
Yeah.
Nope.
Really?
Is it not?
Yeah, it is. I just wanted to fuck with Aaron.
It's in the URL. It's not.
I was like, yeah. So some amazing facts about the number 27.
Are we gonna go for the low hanging fruit here, or?
Give me 1 second, Katie, and maybe we'll
You see
see.
the low hanging fruit?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Just checking.
On average, the sun rotates on its axis once every 27 days.
You don't want to mention any musicians?
No, because that's too stereotypical to 27.
I didn't actually know that about the sun.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so who have we got in the 27 club? We've got Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse,
Hendrix,
Jim
Jim
Morrison,
Morrison.
Janis Joplin, and Brian Jones. Wasn't there somebody else who recently? No. I thought there was somebody else recently who sort of went into it, but they must not be big enough to be able to consider a member. 27 is the atomic weight of the only stable isotope of aluminium. And both the Spanish and Hebrew alphabets have 27 letters each.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that's a good one. The planet Uranus has 27 moons.
There's a joke there.
Oh, I can't think of it.
There's a joke there. Oh, may I chime in?
Yeah.
Marvel's Deadpool issue 27 holds the Guinness World Record for most comic book characters on one cover.
Huh. 27 is a perfect cube number, being 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27.
Yeah, it's a trinity number, isn't it?
I'm going to stop us here because that sounded like the most boring thing I've ever heard in my life.
Goodbye.
Bye.